Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and welcome to the BoxHard Podcast.
Hello, everyone. This is Mikey Garcia.
This the monster from the swamps, Regis Rougarou Program.
Hey, what's up? This is King Carlos Molina, former IBF world champ.
This is Michael, the Bounty Hunter, 2012 Olympian and your people's champ.
This is Charlie Edwards, flyweight champion of the world.
This is Fast Eddie Chambers, and you're listening to the BoxHard Podcast with my main man, Joey Coastman.
Hello everybody and welcome to episode 483 of the BoxHard Podcast. I'm your host Joey Coastman. I'm joined as ever by former heavyweight world title challenger, the main man himself. He's now a YouTuber, Mr. Fast Eddie Chambers. Eddie, how you doing this week?
It's interesting being a YouTuber now, but no, I'm good, Joe. How's things been going for you, my man?
Yeah, all good, my friend. Ups and downs, as per usual. This week's show is going to be a little bit different, by the way, just for our listeners. There's no review part. There's absolutely nothing to review. We would normally do a review, then an interview, then obviously, wrap things up with a preview part. Nothing to review, no news either as of yet. So actually, part one is going to be the preview part. Then the show's going to end after the interview, which we're going to do after the preview part. So let's dive straight in then to the preview part of the show. One fight to mention here. Let's start tomorrow at the Ariake Arena in Kotoku, Tokyo, Japan. Like I say, tomorrow, Friday the 24th of January. Naoya Inoue, 28-0, defending his IBF, WBC, WBO. I've got a feeling he's got the WBA, but BoxRec have got a feud with the WBA and refused to show their belt. It's so annoying. Anyway, they're boxing in a 12-round fight, obviously. Inoue and his opponent, Yi Jun Kim, who has a record of 21-2 with 2 draws. He's a little bit of a late replacement. He's got 13 KOs. He has never been stopped, but a little look through his resume and it's not the greatest. So a lot of people are expecting Naoya Inoue, through no fault of his own, really, fighting this guy here. But a lot of people are, expecting him to just walk through his opponent. Moving now then to Saturday at the Nottingham Arena in Nottingham, United Kingdom. This one's going to be live on DAZN. It's a Matchroom boxing card. Couple fights to mention. There's a couple decent fights on this card. It's not like a card with lots and lots of depth, but I actually do like a couple of these fights. Let's start down the undercard. We've got a women's world title fight. We're going to see Ellie Scotney, who is 9-0, still in search of her first career knockout. She is boxing here for the IBF, IBO and WBO Super Bantamweight world titles against the undefeated 20-0 Aussie Miyamoto. She's 20-0 with 8 KOs, 35 years of age. And yeah, she's coming off a stoppage win last time out against Shannon O'Connell. She's boxed around, she's boxed kind of around fringe world level, I suppose you'd say. And she's decent, like I say, got pretty heavy hands. And this could be a test for Scotney, but again, the smart money would be on Scotney to win on points. Also on the card, another really good fight. I think this one has the potential to steal the show. We're going to see 13-3 Harry Scarf. This one's for the British and Commonwealth welterweight titles. He steps in with Connor Walker, 14-3 with a draw. His style, particularly lately, has been must-watch TV. Good win last time out against Lewis Ritson just 2 months ago. He's straight back out. I don't think he would have had much of a celebratory Christmas. And a great fight last year as well, obviously, with Lewis Crocker. He's a really good fighter, and he'll be trying to put the pressure on Harry Scarf, who can box beautifully off the back foot. We saw that against Eko Esserman. He did a real job on Eko Esserman that night, upset the odds. And he's the slight favourite here against Connor Walker, which I thought was maybe a little bit surprising, but it's a good fight. I would lean towards Connor Walker probably getting the points win. And then in the main event, we've got Dalton Smith in a little bit of a run out. It's for the EBU, the vacant EBU title. So I suppose, it's for the European title and the WBC Silver Super lightweight title. He steps in with Walid Ouiza, who has a record of 19-2. The Frenchman, 33 years of age, coming off a few good wins in a row. But again, it's not he's not a guy I'd heard of. I had to Google him, and looking through his resume, I don't see anything there that jumps out to me. It's, I don't think it's going to be much of a fight. I would expect Dalton Smith to stop this guy, even though he's never been stopped. So that's what I'm expecting from Dalton Smith. It's always good to see him fight. I think he's one of the best, young talents that we have in Britain at the moment. Moving then to the final card to mention. Again, there's not too much to preview, but let's go here then. I'm hoping that you can chime in here at some point, Eddie, if you've got anything at the Cosmopolitan of Las Vegas in Las Vegas. Obviously, Eddie Hearn having a show in the UK and the US in one night. Like I say, again, this one goes down on DAZN Saturday evening, so late Saturday in the UK. I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of boxing back to back to back. Both shows kind of, I think, go into each other. But on this card here, we're going to see the very, very, very talented Andy Cruz. I do love watching Andy Cruz, fantastic fighter, and the way they've moved him as a pro has been very exciting as well. He's in another step up here. He's 4-0 currently as a pro. He's been a pro now. It's going to be, a year and a half. He's had the 4 fights. I'd like to see him a little bit more active. But anyway, he's 4-0. He steps in with 20-1 Omar Gamez. It's for the IBF International Lightweight title. It's over 10 rounds. Gamez is coming off a win last time out against Chris Colbert, Eddie.
Oh, wow! I didn't know that. So this is a good test.
Yeah, good test for him. And also on the card as well, Ernesto Mercado, friend of the show, 16-0 with 15 KOs. The one man to have took him the distance was Zolasani and Dongani. He steps in with Jose Pedraza, former champion, 29-6 with a draw. His last fight was back in February of 2024, so almost a year ago. It's been 11 months, and it was the stoppage loss to Keyshawn Davis, which led Davis on to a fantastic 2024. But that was his first win of the year. It was a shock for me to see Davis stop Pedraza, who hadn't been stopped since that loss to Gervonta Davis back in 2017. But Ernesto Mercado is a knockout artist, there's no question about it. However, this is a massive step up for him, and the bookies are expecting him to stop Pedraza. However, I just think there's levels, and if he were to stop him, it's a statement for me, because Keyshawn at the moment is on, definitely fringe world level, arguably world level, in my opinion. That's how highly I rate him. Ernesto Mercado, this is his first kind of toe dip at this kind of level. Even though Pedraza is aging now, he's still a very, very clever man, a very, experienced veteran, been a champion, boxed all sorts of styles, and I'd be very surprised if this ends early. I think we're going to see rounds here, and I would not bet against the points win for Mercado. But it'd be interesting because I can see Pedraza also having success just through his ring knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of experience on that side. Mercado, though, up and coming, you know what I mean? Wants to make a statement. It's important, obviously. Once seeing what happened with Keyshawn and Tank and all of those guys, it makes it a really serious kind of situation for him to really want to put on I would say a show, obviously, but, he really wants to make an impression, to the rest of the world that he's on the same level as those guys, or at least moving to that level. Obviously, we don't want to have any delusions that he's there now. So it's a hell of a thing. And like you said, there's a lot of experience on the other side. And trust me, sometimes experience, trumps, like even the skill in the possibility of a guy being great. Sometimes they get caught early. So we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? But I agree, Joe, it could be a lot of rounds. And the further it goes, the more, the better chance that Pedraza has to, really make this a really interesting fight. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I really like that matchup, and I've always been a big fan of Pedraza. I think he's so underrated, and he's had a lot of opportunities. It's not like he's he's had a sad career, and it's a shame he didn't get this fight and that fight. He's had the fights, but I've always rated him. I just don't think he gets mentioned amongst some of the recent good fighters at the weight, and I've always been a big fan of his. So yeah, it's going to be a really interesting fight. And Mercado, I love the fact he's on a card like this in this position, and there's lots and lots more people finding out about him. He's a nice kid. All the best to him moving forward. Like I say, he's a friend of the show. And then the final the final fight to mention of the card of the whole preview part is the main event. Diego Pacheco 22-0. He steps in with Steven Nelson 20-0. This one's for the WBC USA and the WBO International Super Middleweight title. It's over 12 rounds at Super Middle. Steven Nelson, a man who is from Omaha, Nebraska, at least, or lives there, and he trains in the same gym as Terence Crawford and with the same coaches, of course. And there's been a lot of talk about Steven Nelson for a while. I don't think, again, he's kind of had the best opportunities and stuff like that, but this is it, and there's a lot of people picking him for the upset here against Pacheco, who we've seen, I guess, in recent fights show us that he's a bit human, or he is human after all. He was looking phenomenal at one stage, just blitzing people, and yeah, not that he's really done anything too wrong, but we've seen him get hit increasingly more, and it's going to be interesting here, because again, Steven Nelson is not a young kid. He's 36 years of age. This is his chance, really. This is his world title fight. If he were to win this, then he would, actually take his career somewhere, because like I say, 36 years of age, 20-0 with 16 KOs, but no one's really talking about him, pushing on. I don't think he's got a massive fan base, and this is his opportunity to kind of shock the world. So I really like this fight, but like I say, again, you'd have to side with Pacheco just because he has really looked the goods, and just because he might have got caught with one or two shots that he shouldn't have got caught with. We can't criticize absolutely everything about his game, because the rest of his game's really good, and he won every fight he's had. You know what I mean? It's not like he lost or he was on the verge of getting stopped or anything like that. I don't think so. Again, it's going to be a good fight. There's a couple of good fights. There's no great depth in the cards this weekend. There's just like a couple good fights on each card and stuff. But I don't know if you've heard anything about this Steven Nelson at all, Eddie. Just because the age factor, I'm wondering if you know anything at all.
No, I really didn't hear much about this guy, but it's interesting. He trains in the gym with Terrence. Doesn't necessarily mean he trains with him, but I don't know. If I wish I could give my little speech on it, but I really don't know much about him. You know what I mean? I just know that Pacheco is a basketball player. There's boxing. I know he's tall as hell, especially at his weight. But I don't know. If I could, I would. I really would. But Pacheco, he looked good in the fights I've seen him in. You know what I mean? Sometimes he gives up his height a little bit, trying to come in and just, brawl to get you out of there. But from what it sounds like, I don't think he wants to get too ahead of himself in a situation like this, where you say a guy has, not a lot to lose, but a lot to gain in a lot of fame, a lot of opportunity here. So you don't want to put yourself in an unnecessary risk. Just go out. You got to go out there and just try to win the fight the best way you can, the most efficient way. And if you do that, you should be successful. But hey, fights aren't necessarily fought on paper, and your last fight and how good you did has nothing to do with the next one. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll be a good one. I'm sure it will be. Anyway, that brings then the preview part to a close. It's been a strange part one. The final thing for me to do just here is to welcome this week's special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the undefeated Super-Featherweight contender himself. It is, of course, Mr. Ryan Garner. Ryan, welcome back on the show, my friend.
Nah, cheers for having me, mate. It's been a little while, hasn't it? Like you said, about a year.
Yeah, it's been a little while. Not as long as that. It's been about half a year. Great to have you back on, Ryan.
My life's too hectic, mate. I don't know what day of the week it is sometimes at the moment.
Oh man! So yeah, we last spoke back in July. At the time, you were getting ready to fight Archie Sharp. It was, in your words, by far your toughest test on paper going into it. Talk me through the performance. I was sat ringside. It was a great performance from you.
Yeah, I was happy with it, mate. Like I said, I always take points out of it, like criticise myself. Do you know what I mean? A very good performance, but I still think, like I say, considering the caliber of what he supposedly, like how good he was supposed to be. Obviously, 25-0, and he was a big name. It was a big fight on paper, really. Do you know what I mean? But I felt I was comfortable in there. Do you know what I mean? The first couple of rounds, he was a bit like I knew he would. Really, I knew he'd be on his toes. Do you know what I mean? Keep it long, but I soon closed the distance. Once I got my distance, found my rhythm. I think it was just I was in control pretty much for the whole rest of the fight, really. So I was happy with it, mate. But like I say, still haven't seen the best of me yet. I don't think. There's still those to come.
That's fantastic to hear. Moving on, obviously you'll be headlining in Bournemouth on March the 1st. Firstly, tell me what it means to headline this show.
It's massive, mate. Obviously, it's massive for my career, really. I know that if I win this fight, mate, there's big doors will open. Obviously, I see Frank do an interview with someone the other week. He was like, he's very confident that if I get through this, he can deliver me a world title shot. So, who knows, mate? It's just around the corner, but it's massive for my career. Not only, obviously, I've got a big connection with Southampton Football Club now as well, and we just obviously, if I get through this, and then there's talks of hopefully one day fighting at St Mary's. So it all rests on this, that I win and perform. Do you know what I mean? And it keeps this the dream alive, if you know what I mean. So yes, it's massive for my career, this fight. This determines really how far I'll really go if you win this fight. Do you know what I mean? And it opens up massive doors and sets up my family for financially. Do you know what I mean? So it's everything.
Yeah, 100%. And I was actually going to say, are you happy with what sort of come next after beating Archie Sharp? Because the worst thing in the world would have been if you'd have fought Archie. Obviously, it was a risky fight. If you win that fight, but then don't really get the reward fight afterwards, and you're sitting on the shelf, it's almost for nothing. But to be fighting for the European title, headlining a show, it's perfect, really. This next move.
Yeah, if I'm honest, mate, I couldn't have put in any better. Obviously, I know I was lined up to be fighting at the end of last year, but I had a few niggles in that from the Archie. Well, I had a few niggles before I'd shot in the camp, and straight in the camp. But I just pushed through it because obviously, like I said, it's my highest payday and the biggest opportunity in my career. So there's no way I was pulling out the fight, even though it was only little niggles. Do you know what I mean? But they're like, it just throws you off the game a bit. But I know there's no way I was pulling out that. And then I started getting back into training straight after to fight at the end of the year. And it was just, just little things playing on me and that. So we left it. But I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason. And for me not to fight at the end of the year and then a European title shot come along. Do you know what I mean? So I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason. So there's a reason that I didn't fight at the end of the year for whatever reason. And then, this has come alight and couldn't have been any better, really, been any bigger. Do you know what I mean? A European title shot, headlining down here. And I have no doubt it's going to be a sellout show. It's just the icing on, and then win this, mate. It's just the icing on the cake, and it could, like I said earlier, it could set my family up for life after this.
And let's talk about it. Like we say, March the 1st in Bournemouth, you'll be boxing Spain's Salvador Jimenez. What do you know about Jimenez, Ryan? I've seen there's a little bit of him on YouTube, isn't there?
Yeah, mate. If I'm honest, I don't like to look too much into it. If I'm honest, because then you get in the ring, you start overthinking things, and if that things don't work out, then you got it in your head that that it's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? That and then it throws you off your game. Whereas if you go spar if you go away and spar in other gyms, and you've got whoever you're sparring, you don't know nothing about them. You just get on with it. And I've got 12 rounds to figure them out. So if I'm as good as what I think I am, I should be able to figure them out in them 12 rounds. Do you know what I mean? And then get the win. But I know I watched one round. I think he's fighting Juanfi. I sparred Juanfi before when I went over to Spain, so I know what he's about, and obviously I know what I'm capable of. And he looks game, strong, fit, but definitely not technically not as good as me, and I think he takes breathers as well. If you know what I mean, like I go through the gears, and I'm a high pressure fighter, so I think that's going to play a massive effect in it. Do you know what I mean? He likes to have breathers to get himself. He goes in bursts. Do you know what I mean? Then has breathers, but I'm not going to give him them breathers. So then we'll see how he can deal with it. But I'm under no illusion it's going to be a very, very hard fight. He's game. He looks fit. He looks strong. So yeah, it could be fight of the night.
Yeah, talking of fight of the night, it has to be mentioned. Obviously, Archie Sharp's now fighting on your undercard against your former opponent, Liam Dillon. That's an interesting fight. How do you see that one going?
Very tough, mate, if I'm honest to call. Like you said, they're both different styles. I know Archie's obviously a lot better boxer than that. And I think he can, if he turns up on his day, he can box Liam Dillon's head off. But he's a bit more controlled than me, I'd say Archie is. Do you know what I mean? Me, like I said, I like a little row. Do you know what I mean? So when I fought Dillon, the first 5-6, I was comfortably winning. Do you know what I mean? But I got drawn in. Yeah, but I don't think Archie will get drawn in, if you know what I mean. He's a bit more cuter than that. Obviously, I got drawn in a bit and then made it a bit more easier for Liam. Do you know what I mean? Where I don't think Archie will. So it's tough, mate. But I see Archie potentially winning just because he nicked the rounds in it. Do you know what I mean? And then box and move, and Liam's a bit slower on his feet. But Liam Dillon is game, fit, and he's up for it, mate. Do you know what I mean? So if he sticks on your chest, who knows what happens? It depends if Archie sits there and lets him unload. So just depends. In my opinion, it's whoever turns up on the night, mate.
Yeah, it's a good fight. I think stylistically, again, the fans are being for a treat. Am I right in saying as well, Ryan, that this week you appeared for the first time, or maybe last week, you appeared for the first time in the top 15 ranking with the IBF?
Yeah, mate, news to me. I don't have a clue.
Yeah. You're in the top 15 with the IBF as well now.
I haven't got. See, with like rankings, I don't ever look at them. Don't do nothing. Anything I ever looked at is like BoxRec, yeah. And I'm ranking second on there, but that don't mean nothing really. BoxRec, because there's a lot of good fighters there. But other than that, I haven't really paid attention to rankings. But it's good to know that I'm in the IBF rankings. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you've been in the WBC rankings for a little while.
Yeah, obviously, I've had the WBC.
Yeah.
I think I did get pushed up to 14th, I think, because they're the WBC convention.
That's right. You're there, and then I believe you're 15th with the IBF. They've just put you in this month in their latest rankings.
And like I say, it might not happen, yeah, but it's all like it's a bit of a coincidence, all this, yeah. And I believe in it. Everything happens for a reason, and I'm gonna win this fight. And then there's obviously we talked about the dreams about St. Mary's, but it's just such a coincidence. On the 1st of March when I fight, I think the WBA regular title or something, or interim, that becomes vacant because he's fighting Tank, isn't he?
Right.
Whatever his name.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Lamont. No. Yeah, Lamont Roach.
Lamont Roach. Yeah. Is he fighting Tank?
Yeah.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got that title, and I believe it because they're fighting heavier. That becomes vacant after that. So it's just weird, isn't it? Like, it might not never happen. I'm not fight for the WBA, but I'm just saying, Frank believes you can get me a world title shot after. If I win this, surely I'm up in the rankings massively in the world. And then, who knows? Maybe a WBA thingy title next at St. Mary's or something like that. Or who knows, just defend the European a few times. But it's just massive, mate. Like I say, if I win this fight, it's opened up more doors than like winning the Archie Sharp. I said the same thing with the Archie Sharp fight. And it's opened up a European title shot. Like, it's all weird. Like, last year was massive for my career, and this year just feels like this is going to be like, that was my coming out party last year, and this year's going to be the cementing of me. Do you know what I mean? And actually winning big things. I think it's just going to be massive for my whole life and career this year.
It's great, mate. You're off to a great start to have your date
with
penciled
like
in
show,
nice and early. Yeah.
The show headlining.
Yeah.
I sold well over 1,000 tickets myself. So it's massive. It's just it's all happening at the right time as well. I think now as well, physically, mentally, 27 now, feel like I'm in my peak, my prime. So I think this is all happening at the right time, and it's just all going to gel together for a massive 2025.
We'd all love to see it happen, my friend. We'd all love to see it happen. Just before we let you go, Ryan, if you've got any closing words to the listeners, you want to sign out with a little message before you go, the floor is yours, my friend.
Nah, obviously, I just want to thank all my sponsors that helped me throughout the whole year. I've got a lot that full-time sponsors, some per fight, but each and every one of them, it all makes a massive difference. Helps me concentrate full-time on training. And I'm just, if anyone's up for watching a very, very good, exciting fight, as I know this is going to be March 1st, and watching me win the European title, I have no doubt in my mind, because it's destiny, mate. It's meant to happen. Just make sure you tune in or you'll be there. There's minimal tickets left. Most of the tickets are just the 55 and 65, maybe some 45, but all the lower end, all the top end, they're all gone, mate, really. So it's been massive support. I just want to thank everyone who's bought tickets and is going to be there on the night, and I'm no doubt they're going to be wanting more of it after the atmosphere and everything and the performance I'm going to put on.
Yeah, you'd be crazy to miss it. Great card. Joe Joyce even on the undercard. It's got a little bit of everything, my friend. As always, Ryan, the pleasure's mine. Thanks so much for your time. Best of luck March 1st. We'll speak after the fight.
Top man, mate. I'll speak to you soon. Hopefully I'll be a European champ by then.
There we go. See you soon, my friend. God bless.
Cheers. Bye.
Okay, and this wraps up episode 483 of the BoxHard Podcast. I've been your host, Joey Coastman. Eddie Chambers has been with me for the duration of the show. A massive thank you to this week's special guest, that man being the undefeated super-featherweight world contender himself, Mr. Ryan Garner. The biggest thanks of all goes out to you, the listeners. There has been just one piece of news break whilst we've been recording the show, and it's that we're going to see that unification blockbuster fight on April 12th in Atlantic City between Jerome Boots Ennis and Imantis Stanionis. What a fight that's going to be. A unification there for the IBF, the WBA and the Ring Magazine welterweight world titles. Again, the date for that, April the 12th in Atlantic City. That is about everything now from myself. Enjoy your weekends, people. Stay safe, and we'll see you all again same time next week.